Hey YouTube, Dandy here. Now, as most of my subscribers should be aware, there was a massive content drought on my channel between August and December. Now, due to this content drought, I'll admit that I paid next to no attention to the Halo community. Seriously, channels which I would have frequently checked to see if they've uploaded a new Halo video, I just didn't check. I didn't know about the new updates Halo 5 was getting, nor did I know what the hot topics in the community were. Halo just wasn't on my mind. So when I finally went and watched these channels' videos again, I noticed that people were much less negative now. Some people have claimed that Halo 5 has become a complete game, and I think Halo Wars 2 looks good. However, in spite of these steps forward, I cannot be optimistic for Halo's future. I already know that someone is gonna comment, "Oh Dandy, you're the biggest cynic in the Halo community. You make Hitler seem lenient by comparison. What reason would you have to be optimistic anyways?" Well, I'm glad I get to answer that question before it's even asked. The reason for me to be optimistic is 343 getting their shit together, which isn't happening and has never happened. Halo 5 potentially exiting its beta stage 15 months after people already spent full price on it is no reason to get me excited. Halo Wars 2, a spin-off RTS game, is in no way the harbinger of Halo's return to glory. Nonetheless, let's see what I think the future of Halo holds. What Halo 5's development means for the future of the series. So, is Halo 5 a complete game? Let's look at the reasons why Halo 5 was not a complete game at launch. 1. The game had barely any maps. 2. It had an incomplete campaign. 3. It had missing features. And 4. Some features didn't function properly. So, does the game have enough maps now? Well, since map variants and forge creations don't count as full-fledged maps, they obviously don't count. Right now, Halo 5 has 8 Warzone maps, 9 arena maps, 5 forge canvases, and 5 breakout maps. Actually, every breakout map is built from a forge canvas, so they don't count either. So the game has 22 maps, which sounds like a lot, but 5 of them are forge canvases, and the remaining 17 are split into 2 playstyles for 2 different demographics. It's simply a fact that Halo 5's arena maps are designed exclusively for competitive play, and that Warzone is designed exclusively for chaos and microtransactions. It's also a fact that no one plays Breakout anymore, or Halo 5 for that matter. Anyways, Halo 5 has 9 maps for one demographic and 8 maps for another demographic. Whereas, Halo 1 launched with 13 maps for one demographic and then 19 in the PC version for the same demographic. Halo 2 launched with 11 maps for one demographic, then ultimately had 24 maps for the same demographic. Halo 3 launched with 11 maps for one demographic, then ultimately had 22 maps for the same demographic, not counting Foundry and Sandbox. Reach was admittedly disappointing in this respect, having only 8 maps for its demographic at launch. Halo Reach would ultimately have 14 maps for a single demographic, not counting Forge World and Forge maps. Even Halo 4 outdid Halo 5. Not counting Forge maps or canvases, Halo 4 launched with 10 maps for a single demographic, then added another 10. The amount of maps per demographic right now is lower than every other Halo game at launch, save for Reach, which was also criticized for not having enough maps at launch. You have to understand, everyone loves the Pit, and everyone loves Sandtrap. The Pit wasn't designed for MLG pros, and Sandtrap wasn't designed for noobs. They were both maps designed for Halo players. Not only is Halo 5 just in general not designed for Halo players, it's not even designed for any particular audience. Naturally, this approach failed to catch the attention of outsiders and disappointed the core Halo audience. What reason does an outsider have to play Halo 5 when the aspects that pander towards them don't even constitute a full game? Even Halo 4, which actually had a focus, failed to attract a new audience. What positives did 343 foresee in legislating the segregation of the Halo community? Due to Halo 5's failure to offer a complete product to any particular audience, we can put a red cross on a game having enough maps. Is the campaign complete yet? Nope. 343 hasn't so much as acknowledged any of the major issues in the campaign, which I and so many others have already made videos about. All they've done for the campaign via updates is balancing tweaks and adding campaign scoring. Don't pretend that fixing this campaign is impossible. Final Fantasy XV is getting free updates that tweak the storyline, with voice acting and all. 343 should have done the same, but they didn't, because they've demonstrated to us time and time again that initiative is not their forte. Shoddy effort, 343. Yet another red cross. Has Halo 5 added back all the necessary features? Well, campaign scoring is back like I said, Firefight is back, Assault is back, Infection's back, and Race is back. But many things are missing. Campaign theater? Nope. Split screen? Nope. King of the Hill? Nope. Classic playlists? Well, they did introduce a classic playlist, but the name is extremely misleading because you still have Spartan abilities. I'll say it again, in the classic playlist, you still have Spartan abilities. The level of ignorance here is absolutely unacceptable, and I'm starting to think that 343 Industries employs bonobos. You screwed over the classic fans by botching the Master Chief Collection, and you screwed over the classic fans once again by outright lying to them. I know what some of you are thinking. Hey, Favin was right. Making a properly classic playlist for Halo 5 would be bad because all the weapon damage, auto-aim, etc. is designed around Halo 5's movement, so if you took away enhanced mobility, it would be too easy to kill other players. You see, every Halo game runs on a BLAM engine, and aim assist, all that stuff isn't hard-coded to however the game handles aiming. That stuff is all written inside of the weapons data itself. The sniper rifle being specifically programmed not to have aim assist when unscoped is evidence of this. And I know that someone will say this, because Favin already did. If 343 wanted to create an authentic, classic experience in Halo 5, they would have to invest time into playtesting to ensure that they've accurately replicated the classic Halo experience. Look, Favin mate, it's already been playtested. I know you aren't aware of this, otherwise you wouldn't have made your point to begin with, but all the FPS Halo games use the BLAM engine, so all the variables and how shit operates is the same. The variables all do the same things and the values are interchangeable between games. Now, I don't have Windows 10, so I can't use Halo 5 Forge on PC as an example, but I went and copied the data of the Halo 1 pistol and put them in the Halo Online pistol. Look, 3-shot kill. Look at the bullet magnetism as well. It's the same. As you can see, 343 could literally just load the properties of assets from the original trilogy into Halo 5 and you would have a perfect classic sandbox. Other variables like bullet velocity, a weapon's aim assist, range, and even player properties like movement speed, jump height, gravity, whatever, they're interchangeable between games as well. So why didn't 343 do this for the classic playlists? Either they were just lazy, or actually wanted to spite us. Anyways, split screen. I, as well as many others, have already gone over why the removal of split screen was unjustified. They could have kept it for campaign, custom games, and Warzone, so that maintaining a constant 60 FPS for competitive play wouldn't be an issue. In fact, Halo 5's 60 FPS target would make a 30 FPS split screen target a total non-issue. They could have pulled off a 50 FPS split screen, I reckon. Hell, they probably could have pulled off a 60 FPS split screen. Removing split screen for technical reasons is obviously bullshit because there's no technical reason to remove LAN parties either. It can only be concluded that this was done to force you to pay for Xbox Live. Even if split screen having a dodgy frame rate were true, is Halo 5 really a better game for forgoing split screen? I don't think so. So, does Halo 5 have enough features? Personally, I feel like they should be disqualified by default for lying to their customers and not even having split screen or LAN parties. But I guess this one is sort of up to you. So, does shit work yet? Well, Theater is still completely shithouse and a newly introduced custom game server browser is basically non-functional. Objects in the map just completely spaz out like they're having a seizure, game type settings don't load properly, and spawn points don't work as they should. Aside from the fact that you can actually get into a game, it's seriously worse than the MCC. At least exiting a game works, which is by far the most underrated feature of Halo 5. No, shit does not work. As such, I can't consider Halo 5 to be a complete game. 343 has now had over 4 years to develop Halo 5, but it doesn't have enough maps for any particular demographic, the campaign is incomplete, the game is missing features, and it's still non-functional. Don't pull the troubled development card because it's a known fact that Halo 1 and 2 both had extremely troubled developments, more so than Halo 5 did. Yet the result of the former two were genre-defining, universally lauded, complete and functional games. Hell, Halo 2's development was started over 17 months before launch. Since the game went gold in October of 2004, the game had only 16 months of development. I don't know if Halo 5's development had ever restarted, but it couldn't have restarted after August of 2014. From the first look of the beta, at which point Halo 5 was already nearly 2 years in development, to the release of Monitor's Bounty in December, Halo 5 has had 28 months of development, yet it can't even surpass Halo 2 as a package. So, why am I even talking about whether or not Halo 5 is a complete game? Because Halo 5, like the MCC and Halo 4 before it, showed that 343 Industries is an incompetent studio, and this will reflect in Halo 6. So, what does Halo Wars 2 mean for the future of the series? Halo Wars 2 looks pretty good. I don't personally care or know anything about real-time strategy games, so I can't really comment on the gameplay, but from a glance it looks very well made. What I want to talk about here is the music, art style, and story. From what we've heard of the music, it just sounds like a generic film score. It doesn't sound like Halo music, or even video game music for that matter. Halo's soundtrack isn't about drawn out notes, it's supposed to have reasonably paced melodies and riffs, verses and choruses. Don't tell me that the music is just supposed to be ambient, as if that justifies it being so lackluster. Halos 1 through Reach, as well as other series like Metroid, Mirror's Edge, Donkey Kong Country, Elder Scrolls, and the Souls games, showed that you can compose ambient music that is instantly catchy. It doesn't even acoustically sound like Halo music. There's an over-reliance on brass instruments which are supposed to be used sparingly in Halo. This is supposed to be Halo soundscape. Strings as the main instrument can be lead as well as the bass line, choirs, mostly used when strings form the bass line, percussion with beats that are actually memorable, and then we have instruments for more specialized tracks. Bass guitar, self-explanatory. Brass, used rarely and as a supplement to the string lead. Electric guitar, used for metal/rock with the exception of Halo 2's credits. Bring metal back to Halo please. Synthesizers, used for ambience, especially when percussive. Synth bass has also been used in some tracks, but drawing more attention to itself than a bass guitar would. The melodies and choice of instruments are supposed to become one to create the feeling of ancientness, wonder, the unknown, and often beauty. Halo Wars 2's soundtrack does none of this. It just sounds like generic trailer music. It's just an inharmonious stream of consciousness that you will never hum to yourself, and it puts me to sleep. Halo 4 and 5 were guilty of not sounding like Halo music, but at least Halo 4 had great compositions. Halo 5, not so much. Some songs focus on strings instead of brass, but they sound like a bad violin cover of the intro of Through the Fire and the Flames by Dragon Force. Admittedly, some music in Halo 5 would be excellent if the soundscape was more Halo-like, such as Light is Green, and much of Halo 4's soundtrack would be phenomenal with the Halo soundscape. Halo Wars 2's soundtrack, however, would not be saved by the Halo soundscape because the compositions are mediocre at the absolute best. Okay, enough rambling about the music. What about the visuals? Well, it seems to be a mix of the Bungie era art and the 343 era art. The designs actually look pretty alright. Atriox, for instance, looks bloody awesome. I appreciate this step forward in bringing back Halo's old design philosophies, and as a balance of the two art styles, they've nailed it, at least in cutscenes. In-game, it doesn't look so gritty. I mean, look at this. Look at this. This looks like a screenshot from the cancelled Mega Bloks Halo game. The blades of grass are abnormally large. The textures look very flat, there's not a lot of detail to them. It really reminds me of Halo 5's textures. This game's predecessor, on the other hand, had extremely detailed textures, owing to the game actually looking like a Halo game, and surprise surprise, it sounded like one as well. Halo Wars 2 is coming out in February, so it's definitely too late to improve the music and visuals. But I hope that these criticisms, which have also been attributed to Halo 5 and Halo 4, may finally pay off someday. Okay, now for the story. So basically, after the events of Halo Wars 1, the Spirit of Fire has been drifting in space for 28 years, and happened to come across the Ark. This sounds awfully convenient, and the Ark doesn't really look like it had a number done on it as Cortana described back in Halo 3, so yay, plot hole. But now for the cool stuff. The villains of this game are a faction known as The Banished, led by a brute named Atriox. The Banished was formed some time before the Great Schism, and is comprised of rogue Covenant mercenaries, and ended up becoming much more powerful than the Covenant itself. Obviously, this faction was conceptualized just to be included in Halo 6, since the Covenant remnants were wiped out on Genesis in Halo 5. Halo 6 would be extremely boring if the only enemy you fought were Prometheans. Even though there shouldn't be any Prometheans after Halo 4 because the Didact is dead and the Prometheans were all stationed on Requiem, which was destroyed. No really, why do the Prometheans still have orange lights in Halo 5? The lights go orange when they're under the Didact's control. The Didact is dead. Anyways, I initially thought that the Banished meant we never did finish the fight in Halo 3 if there was always a second Covenant which humanity just never happened to encounter. But then I noticed something. One small detail that changed my entire perception of the Banished. Look at Atriox's armor. You can see a UNSC logo on one of the plates. This next part will be purely speculation, but I believe the reason humanity never encountered the Banished before is because the Banished aren't religiously motivated like the Covenant were, and as such, have very different goals. The Banished aren't at war with humanity due to religious dogma, which is why they are willing to salvage their technologies. This explains why the Banished is more powerful than the Covenant. The Covenant only made inferior imitations of Forerunner technology, whereas the Banished innovate and combine technology. It's also interesting, and it makes me excited to find out what exactly the Banished is doing on the Ark, and why exactly they are at war with humanity. Since the Banished are mercenaries, maybe they're out bounty hunting on the Ark, and humanity is impeding their progress. Maybe there's something they know about the Ark that humanity doesn't. There's so many possibilities. The UNSC logo on Atriox's armor reminds me of the small details in Bungie's Halo games that would make you think. Details which led to my theory that the Forerunners were indeed humans. Details that make the story and the universe smarter and bigger. This is excellent stuff, and I hope that future Halo titles will reflect this genius storytelling. But I know that Halo 6 won't. Why? 343 Industries is guilty of forcing the player to consume expanded universe material to even know what anything is and why anything is the way it is. Oh, the Covenant is back in Halo 4? Who, what, when, where, why? Nope, the game doesn't tell you anything. 343 would rather focus on two aliens going through a fucking divorce with Master Chief and Cortana, who just installed Windows Vista, getting involved in it. Then we have Halo 5. Lucky I read the Halo novels before Halo 5 came out, because otherwise I'd be wondering who the hell Blue Team are and why I should care about them. Now, the Banished will obviously appear in Halo 6, and the real purpose of Halo Wars 2 is not to appease fans of Halo Wars, but to serve as an explanation for the Banished and Atriox, because you can bet that Halo 6 won't have one. I know, Halo 6 isn't even out yet, but I know that this is going to happen. And 343 would get away with it too, because Halo Wars 2 is a game and not a book. That means they will have acquainted more people with the Banished by detailing them in a spin-off game rather than a book. But I must ask, as Halo Wars 2 is a spin-off game, what makes this any different in concept from needing to read Halo Glasslands to know who the Covenant remnants are? Nothing. In conclusion, Halo 5, which has had 4 years of development, is still an incomplete game and cannot even match Halo 2, which had a mere 16 months of development after being restarted from scratch. Halo Wars 2 in spite of its cool story and positive steps forward in visual art direction, lacks a score appropriate for a Halo game. In Halo 6, 343 will not make an effort to create a cohesive story that is able to convey important information to the audience. And why would they? They know that their fans will defend them to no end and keep buying their games. In Halo 6, 343 will not make an effort to ship a complete Halo experience at launch. And why would they? They know that their fans will defend them to no end and keep buying their games. The fanboys need to realize that 343 will only be as smart as their fans. So you should demand a better Halo because clearly you do love Halo. The outstandingly stupid claim that I am a Halo hater disgusts me. I do what I do because I love Halo. Calling someone a hater because they actually have standards is one of the most moronic things I've ever seen a person do. I mean, come on, 7 years ago no one would say that the Halo community was trash. Back then, Halo's community was considered amazing. Now, it just seems that so many fans were never really fans of what Halo is, but just fans of things with the Halo brand name attached to it. Well, unlike those people, I don't support the bastardization of Halo, and to me, it seems that Halo's future is uncertain at best. This is Dandy, telling you why Halo is probably not going to get much dandier soon. Peace.